Requesting fire. Target, platoon sergeant, G4 in the open. Illumination followed by HP condensation on map coordinates 562-672.
All around me, the Marines are cheering in approval. It's a good feeling to watch our ships deal a merciless blow to the Japs. No mortal man could live through such destroying power.
Batio and the neighboring islands are rocked by the bombardment. The first waves of Marines climb into their amphibious tractors, known as Amtraks, and strike out for the shore. Sherrod is part of a small band of reporters and Marine combat cameramen following in flat-bottomed Higgins landing craft. These Marine cameramen have been assigned to document the invasion using handheld IMO cameras and color film. Since this will be the Marines' first amphibious landing against a heavily defended Japanese island, Marine Corps leaders want a record of what happens.
The mood is optimistic. A young lieutenant asks me why I haven't written a book yet. I tell him I'm just waiting for a real story.
My buddy looks at me and says, "Well, Marb, just remember to use your head for something besides a helmet holder and you will make it out of this war alive."
"20-year-old Marine Nolan Marbury has just landed on the island of New Britain with the 1st Marine Division, on loan to the Army as part of America's Southwest Pacific Offensive. Over a year ago, Marbury signed up with the Marines as a way to get out of his hometown of Huntsville, Alabama. This is his first time in combat.
I can hear the sound of artillery and small arms fire in the distance. I got a tight feeling in my stomach.
Located over 1,000 miles southwest of Tarawa, New Britain is one of the most important links in Japan's chain of island outposts in the South Pacific. Their sprawling air and naval base complex at Rabaul on the island's northeastern tip has been the nerve center for Japanese combat operations in that region since early 1942. The American plan is not to storm Rabaul, but to encircle it, cutting off supply lines and rendering the stronghold militarily irrelevant. If the two-pronged Allied sweep through the Central and South Pacific is to be successful, New Britain, like Tarawa, must be taken.
It's a hell of a time to make new friends. But the lieutenant's pairing us up with new foxhole buddies. He wants rookies like me with experienced vets. My new partner is a guy named Les. He saw lots of action on Guadalcanal. That should come in handy. It's our first night on the island. It's hard to sleep. We hear rifle fire somewhere ahead of us. And the Japs, they're making noises in the jungle. They even yell out in perfect English, "Bob Hope, go to hell," and "F Babe Ruth." Trying to piss us off, hoping that we'll fire on them and give away our position. Les tells me if I see a Jap to use my knife and go for the throat. We keep pushing forward, but this grass is so thick we barely go anywhere.
Rookie Marine Nolan Marbury and his veteran comrade Les trudge deep into the jungle of New Britain. Marbury has survived his first several nights on the enemy-held island. He and his platoon are now setting out on their mission. The objective is to secure a nearby hilltop where Japanese observers are calling down artillery on the surrounding area.
We fall in behind the tanks, and they blast our path forward with round after round of shells. And Les tells me just keep firing. Don't matter if you don't hit anything, just keep firing and keep moving.
But as the tanks move deeper into the jungle, they get bogged down in New Britain's dense undergrowth and muddy streams. The men will have to face the enemy without the protection of their armor.
We run into a bunch of 7th Marines heading the opposite way. Man, they look beat. One of them looks at me and says, "Good luck."
As we get closer in, I can see there are no Higgins boats on the beaches. Something is not right. Should be hundreds of them by now.
Time Life correspondent Robert Sherrod is on a landing craft with the 2nd Marine Regiment, headed toward the island of Batio in the Tarawa Atoll.
An officer on another boat shouts that the shelf around the island is too shallow for our Higgins boats.
The Marine assault plan is based on a deadly miscalculation. The Higgins boats need 4 feet to clear the coral reef surrounding the island, but the tide is only 3 feet deep. The boats are getting stuck, forcing the Marines to jump into the surf and wade hundreds of yards to shore, where the Japanese are waiting for them. Only lightly armored Amtraks, which can crawl up and over the coral, are able to make it past the reef. Sherrod transfers from the Higgins boat to an Amtrak and moves toward the beach.
Our Amtrak's boss yells that he can't go any closer.